Hello, this is Steve Kaempf with the People Not Titles podcast, and I am so pleased to have with me today Joey Hamel. Joey's a real estate attorney with DKMO Law in Arlington Heights. Joey, welcome to the podcast. We're so glad to have you.
I'm very excited to be here, so
Yes.
thank you.
Excellent. So Joey, we love to talk about the career journey as people who are watching our podcast are, number one, they're interested in you and they like to find out what makes Joey tick. But the second thing is there's a lot of people that make career decisions, and any insights that they have along someone's journey is always helpful for them. So let's talk about that. You went to, you said, we were talking about you playing soccer at St. Viator, and then you went to Holy Cross.
Yes.
Right? And where is it in?
I went to one in Indiana.
Yeah, Indiana, yeah. And so were you, like, when you were going to college, were you thinking, I'm going to be an attorney, or was that a decision you made after, before? How'd that go?
Before. So I'm one of those weird people that I knew really young that I wanted to. So my parents always joke, second grade, that's what I wanted to be for Halloween.
No kidding.
Was an attorney.
Oh,
my
wow.
cousins, I have a lot of cousins that are attorneys. So
okay, so and were these cousins older, so they kind of inspired you? You're like, I want to be,
Yeah.
Oh, that's really great to know that people are watching and thinking how you carry yourself could impact a young lady like yourself.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, they were a huge inspiration.
Okay, and did you went to UIC? Did you?
It's UIC now,
Yeah,
John Marshall.
Okay, you went to
Yes.
John Marshall. And so was that your path? Did you know that that's where eventually we were going to wind up, or did you make your decision to go to John Marshall after you got out of Holy Cross and decided, what do I want to do?
So after Holy Cross, I got a job at a law firm, and I was clerking there, and I applied to a few schools, got into some, got waitlisted for some. But the one that I was really looking at was in Ohio, and I realized that I didn't want to go that far. I wanted to stay closer. I loved my job. And there's so many great schools in Chicago, so then I decided to work for a full year instead of just through the summer clerking. And so I took a year off between undergrad and law school. I worked. And then I applied and I got into John Marshall.
Let's talk about that year off. So was that a time where you were like, hey, I want to be an attorney now more than ever based upon your experience working in the law firm?
Yes, because I feel like so often what people know about lawyers we see from TV, and we don't necessarily know some of the other, what else is out there.
Yeah,
so
what's happening behind, how the sausage is made.
Exactly, exactly. So I realized, there is what we see on TV, which is litigation. You're always in court, you're always arguing, but there's also a lot of transactional. I worked at a workers' comp firm, so we did a lot of workers' compensation, and then I worked at a corporate law firm, so it was all contracts, a lot of setting up lunches and introducing people, reviewing contracts, connections. So it was completely different than preparing for these huge arguments or going to trials or anything like that.
And was that appealing to you?
Actually, no.
Okay.
So I was able to eliminate that. I didn't want to do workers' comp because it just wasn't for me. I didn't want to do transactional, so I went into litigation eventually. So I was one that was in court, 3 to 5 days a week at the state level, but I worked at a litigation firm for about 12 years. So I started in law school and then I continued on there. Okay.
And it's interesting that you're not one of the first that have said that year off helped me to reset and reprioritize. Was that year off helpful for you?
Very helpful. I did it before it was the thing to do. Now a lot of people do it.
Yeah, gap year. They have a name for it now.
They have a whole name for it. But I think it's such a great opportunity for people to really reset, make sure they know what they're doing. Going to college or any school, even if the trades, it's such a big undertaking. It's expensive now. And you can look at it as almost like a full-time job if you're putting in the work, putting in the hours, getting the grades, also trying to, network or make connections. That I think it really helped me mature. And then it set me up for when I was done and applying that I had even more connections than I did going in, which is everything nowadays.
And so when you went into law school, then you weren't able to keep any facet of the job?
No.
Okay, it was a full load and you just wanted to stay focused on that.
Correct. You're not, you weren't really allowed to work your first semester, so you had to sign a contract saying you weren't going to.
Oh, wow, okay.
So Yeah, so you have to. And that first year, you don't want to work.
Yeah, it's intense. Okay,
Exactly.
and how was it? Was there any time during your time at getting your law degree that you were like, man, this is tough. I don't know if I can make it?
Yes.
Wow.
After that first semester, I distinctly remember calling my mom and being like, I don't think I can do this. I don't know. And she told me, she's like, okay, then don't. It's up to you. If you don't want to, that's okay. And I think knowing that regardless of what I decided, she had my back.
Yeah.
My parents had my back.
Sure.
That I was only going to be letting myself down. And I was like, oh, well, my cousins, they all did it. How come I can't do it? And everybody's different.
Yeah.
But it really gave me the reassurance knowing that I was going to be doing this for myself.
Yes. Not because mom said, stay in there, don't you dare quit, quitters never win, blah, blah, blah. She gave you freedom to quit, and you were like, well, I'm not going to quit.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. That's a real, that's a smart mom you had. Okay, so what got you through it? I mean, what was the turning point for you where you're like, I think I can do this, actually?
I think when I looked at it, I took a step back and I realized, what else could I see myself doing? Because there's a lot of people that graduate from law school and don't practice law.
Yes.
Or are completely, different types of law. They work in-house somewhere. And I just kept thinking, like, there's nothing else I have ever seen myself doing anything else. This is all I know. This is what I've always thought. And I was just like, you just got to do it. Like at the end of the day, just like trying to get through a tough class or a tough season, whatever the case may be, that
The People Not Titles podcast is brought to you by Land Trust Title Services, your partners for results.
Too, and so they're able to make sure that they can get the right contractors or get the right estimates. So
yes. So, and the different element from, at least my perspective, from what you were doing before and what you're doing now is certainly there's all the work that has to be done, but there's actually acquiring the work. Was that a new element for you, that you actually had the pressure of building new relationships and really hustling? You're almost like a mini entrepreneur within the business. Is that true?
Absolutely. I had never had to really network before.
Yes.
Until coming here, and I always say, like, I'm still trying to build my brand. I'm still trying to get my name out there, because that's just it. You have to get your own, work with, have someone give you a chance, have an agent give you a chance, show them what you're capable of, what your team is capable of, and then hope you get, more business from them or from a satisfied client. That's truly, people always say that, but is the best compliment is when someone says they heard your name from, a neighbor or a friend or a family member. So, but that was a huge change for me, was starting to get my name out there, joining different clubs, organizations, boards,
associations, whatever it might
Exactly.
That's great. Do you have a routine, like a prospecting routine, or is it now just kind of integrated into your whole process?
I think it's kind of integrated. Just trying to, at the beginning, I was just going to so many different meetings and whatnot, and I got to a point where it's like, it's truly that you attract people that are similar in your, what your nature is. And so now,
energy, whatever.
Exactly. So now I try to go and support the groups and organizations and associations that are really important to me, or maybe more local to where I live. So that way I'm well versed in maybe a discussion that comes up.
That's great. And I know that it was kind of happenstance that you picked DKMO, but you picked a great one, by the way. And so what has been some of the key points with DKMO that has you go, man, I'm really with the right firm?
Truly, I enjoy going to work every day.
That's a gift.
It is. Yeah. I love the people that I work with. I consider myself very blessed, like I said. Our managing partner, if you think about if you know Ernie, you know how busy he is.
Yes.
He sets aside hours of time to go through.
To build into you.
Yes, and we go through the contract and we go through different nuances. Every quarter we try, depending on the season, to have even group meetings. So we wanted to talk about surveys, and so we brought people in to help and go through surveys. And I was just telling my colleague the other day that how it's nice where if you're stuck on like a specific topic and you just need to talk it over, you can send out like a quick text or an email, and you get feedback immediately. Like they're never too busy. And I think you're only as good as the people that you surround yourself with, and we have amazing staff as well. So I know I can count on them, and they're going to get done what they need to get done. And I love our team. So we have enough attorneys that we're fortunate enough that it doesn't hinder us from, being able to go on vacation or leave for kids' activities and whatnot. And we're not going to leave any of our clients high and dry. We all respond to emails similarly. We all show up similarly. So I know that I have good coverage if I ever need to be out. So very fortunate. I got the creme de la creme. So yeah,
that's great. And I think I think when you set the standard for yourself that I spend too much time at work, I'm not going to be miserable here. And all of a sudden, God starts to work in your favor. Right,
Yeah.
Where you go, and then you still have to take some risks. You still have to take the steps and all that kind of thing. But there is somewhat of a dance between your intention, if you clarify it, and how whatever the universe responds to that. The DKMO also has a full suite of services. Let's talk just a little bit about what else your clients enjoy by having a relationship with you in real estate. What other things can they take advantage of in the firm?
Yeah, so We have a great corporate law department. So we handle commercial real estate,
Yes.
Drafting any governing documents, buying and selling businesses. So we've got 4 amazing attorneys and staff that work in our corporate department that can handle anything, leases, reviewing that, some employment law there. And then we have a large team of attorneys and staff for we do estate planning, so
Yes.
trust wills, probate, we handle probate, and then trust administration as well. So we have, and it's great because we have a lot of clients that is kind of a one-stop shop. So we might be handling their estate planning or a trust administration for a client, and then they want to sell mom or dad's house, or we have a small LLC, or clients that are buying properties in our real estate department, but they want to set up an LLC. So we just make the introduction to our corporate department, and then we can kind of keep it all in house, and we have a really great platform to share the information within DKMO.
That's great. And not only you have a bevy of great attorneys on the real estate side as well, but you also have a real strong, you mentioned it or alluded to it, a strong bevy of paralegals.
Yes.
So when you're out in the field or when you're building relationships, those files just aren't sitting on your desk waiting for you to get back at night and work them like a lot of attorneys are doing. These files are being worked while you're out there, building the relationships.
Absolutely. They're actively being worked. And again, even when a paralegal is gone on vacation or whatnot, we transfer files, per paralegal to a different paralegal, so that way the next one is up to speed on everything. So if we have a client that calls in, we don't want them to be sitting for a week because they're out of town. It has to still move forward. These are our clients' sometimes biggest purchases they will ever make in their life, and I can appreciate the stress they're under, whether they're buying or
they're not doing 100 like you are a month. They're doing one. Yes.
One, and I can appreciate that they want to talk to somebody and they want answers or they want clarification.
Yeah.
And we are all capable and able to
you guys are really,
do that.
I'm amazed at how easy it is to get a hold of someone to get the right answer. So kudos to you guys. I want to talk a little bit about the industry. The industry over the last year or so has gone through with the NAR settlement. There's been this big kerfuffle on commissions and, whether realtors are going to, make money anymore and all that kind of thing. What's been your view, now that we have a year basically from that moment, what has been your view of how that has kind of shaken out?
So I think I feel like it's shaken out pretty good. So now we've transitioned a little bit and added extra processes in where we make sure we know up front what the actual commission is going to be, because the last thing we want is to get to the closing table and we don't know.
Right.
I do think that, some people are really trying to forego using real estate agents because they're just, they don't know they just heard in the news that something happened and it scares them.
Right.
But I think it's a huge disservice to not having that professional.
Yes.
Even though you have an attorney, the agents are the ones on the ground. They're the ones that you're texting, that you're talking to on the weekends. They're the ones that are walking you through, literally going to the walkthrough or helping negotiate with the other agent. And they do so much behind the scenes that I feel like for the clientele, the buyers and the sellers, that I don't think they would change anything. I don't think that they would want to, not pay the fees. The agents, because I think it's become, it's most definitely worthwhile in the agent.
I think stepping back, the big question was on the buy side, does the agent have enough value to be able to get that commission the same as on the list side? And I think when the good agent step back, they go, I have value, and they started listing all the things they do, and they're like, dang, I'm worth a commission on this. And I think it's been a good thing that the buyer's agents are able to sit down with the buyers and actually communicate, here's my value, here's what I'm bringing, here's what I'm going to get paid on it. So it's not just, the seller pays for it, don't worry about it.
Right.
Which actually devalues what you're going to be doing, they think you're just opening up the door. But now they've been able to articulate that, and I think at the same time, I think it's kind of settled to the sellers paying, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it primarily, is that how it's shaken out at every closing table?
Yes, for the most part, I would say.
Yeah, every now and then you have an outlier or whatever, but I think if a seller wants to sell the home, they need to put something in it for the buyer, and they build that in. But I think that all the open communication and how it's settled is kind of how they were doing business before, which says, I think the market had it right to begin with, and this testing had people question it, but I think they came out with the right answers on that.
I agree.
Okay, that's great. Let's talk about the 8.0 contract, because that's been a clarifying factor too with these discussions about it has the buyer's commission on there, and it also has provisions for the inspection.
Correct.
Has that been helpful?
I would say it has been, but
overall a net plus?
Overall a net plus, because it does help having a lot more, I mean, beyond even that, having a place for, solar panels or adding. So I do feel overall it's been a net plus for sure.
Yes.
I think it needs a little bit more time to weed out and have people truly understand what as is and 15C is, but that is not against the drafters at all. They tried and they made it very yes. But there are still times where we're having to explain to clients that this is what was agreed upon prior to and so that's still been but that was the same issue before. So I think with a little bit more time, once people get more comfortable telling clients, or it's the market too, it's really a seller's market, that if you agree to 15C, you really shouldn't be asking for things.
Yes, and I think some people are still trying to do it the old way, which was negotiate after the fact the price that you really want. And I think as the market shifts to let's explain this right and let's handle this in a way that really honors the document, so to speak, as opposed to trying to play games with the document and push the envelope, which has everyone wasting time and frustrated type of thing. Let's talk about, you're mentioning your brand, Joey, and what is the brand of Joey? I mean, I think we're hearing a lot of it here, but if you had to encapsulate it, what would it be?
Hard work. I feel like I have a lot of integrity. And then maybe honesty and respect. I don't know. It's hard.
No, I like that. And I mean, I think the expertise that you have, that 10 years of experience of seeing the inner workings of all of the documents, from reading the mortgage notes to, even other financing aspects of it, you probably have a little bit of a financial planning mindset to the offering that you're bringing to buyers and sellers, plus all of the experience you have in estate planning, so people who are buying and selling and how they're taking the home into their custody, so to speak, is another element of it. Are you still doing estate planning today?
Yes.
Okay.
So I still do estate planning, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think my history has helped me elaborate and explain to clients why the mortgage says, that you're not going to abandon your property. People are like, well, what do you mean? Why would I? It's like, well, because back then people did leave the keys in the property.
Yes.
Or why is there a new form or a new provision in the mortgage? Well, a lot of it was born out of that, crash before that. It's not predatory because there's no prepayment penalty. So I feel like my history has really been able to help with explanations at closings, but also, but with the estate planning too. Yes, I feel like when clients are saying, well, what do I do to protect, myself, or I have kids, how do I leave it to them in the future, or what would be how do I protect myself from probate, that I'm able to use that expertise that I use in my estate planning practice now, or personal experience that I've experienced with the trust admin practice, to try to help guide clients on making some of those estate planning decisions for their future.
That's great, and that's more than transactional to me. It's more holistic in terms of how you're approaching the client. So we all know that we're in the heat of the season right now, right? This is kind of maybe wrapping up, but I think we're gonna have a strong fall. How do you? Things get stressful, people get anxious, you got attorneys calling you, you have agents calling you, you have buyers and sellers calling you. How do you carry the kind of peace that you kind of exhibit into the day or through the day? How do you take time to reset? Are there moments in the day where you step back?
Yes. So for me, my husband works really long hours, so I handle a lot of the childcare morning and afternoon. So I really try to make a point of being present for them and not, maybe emailing first thing in the morning or being on the phone when I'm with them as much as possible.
Yes.
And I try to take the time to be with them and be present with them. But then I know during busy season, that means that after bedtime, I'm going to have to work a little bit more.
Yes.
I take trying to be physical, or like mentally and physically healthy. So I like to work out. I play soccer now. Again, so I feel like taking that time for myself has really helped make me like mentally stronger and taking more just time for myself. I love to read too. So I've picked up hobbies.
That's great.
I should say that help set.
So self-care.
Self-care.
Yeah.
It's self-care for sure is a big thing for me. And then my mom, I always think about, my mom has this saying that whenever I do get overwhelmed, she's just like, one slice of bologna at a time. So I always try to think of it like that, just one thing at a time, and then we'll get through it.
Yeah, and I love the fact that when you're home with your kids, as opposed to you leaving, you're like, oh my gosh. When you're at home, you're thinking about work. When you're at work, you're thinking about it at home. And so to carve out those times and be present, and it's great to be working for a firm that allows you that kind of life balance, even in the midst of young children, trying to raise them, trying to be a good person, all those kind of good, family person, all those kind of things. Soccer.
Yes.
Okay, so are you on a team right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
I play twice a week. And Monday nights I play on a team in Libertyville. And then I just started that back again because I was just subbing for a while. And then on Thursday nights I play at Soccer City in Palatine. And I'm on a team. And my kids, that's like 5 minutes from my house, so my kids love to come and watch.
And that's kind of a nice, I played a lot of nights at Soccer City, and so that's great. The door closes, they can run around everywhere.
They can run around, it's safe. It's a bunch of moms,
that's
so
great.
They all know where the kids are and they'll help. And and the first time we walked in with my kids, it was so funny, you'll appreciate this. So he's like, oh, it smells. I'm like, it smells the same way it did 30 years ago.
Exactly.
They've renovated a bit, but they love to come and watch. And
that's great.
I always feel like I was just telling someone the other day that them seeing me, reading more or playing soccer is showing, good habits.
Absolutely.
Because they pick up a lot of the bad habits
no doubt.
But I hope that they see and take with them some of these good ones.
So what position are you, Joey?
Defense.
Ooh, all right. That's great. Yeah. That we do have a soccer, a real estate soccer movement. No. So I'll have to talk to you about that post podcast. Let's talk about vision for the future for you, Joey. You seem like you're really well balanced. You're happy with your firm. Is there anything that you're thinking, this is the next mountain I'm going to climb, or is it just being a better you at your current position?
Right now, I've given this a lot of thought. Right now, I feel like everybody has a season. My season is doing what I'm doing and
That's great.
Making me a better attorney for what I'm doing. Some of these weird nuances, trying to work through those, and supporting my colleagues that I work with as much as I can do. But while my kids are little and, in their own activities, I just feel like I'm not going to tackle any more mountains right now. Yeah. But that's not to say, my twins are starting kindergarten, so it's not to say maybe in the future that I have higher aspirations or take on, maybe some commercial. I did one of your commercial CLEs and phenomenal. Yes. That actually got me interested. But
wow, that's great.
There's a time for that, and but I always tell Ernie I plan on being DKMO forever, so I've got time to explore some of those. So.
I love it. And how do you, it's interesting, you have a lot of real estate attorneys at DKMO. Is it 10?
7.
7. You have 7 real estate attorneys, but you all have a little bit, or a lot of, kind of an abundance team mentality. Is that just something, are you just kind of trusting that, you're going to get what you're going to get type of thing, or how does that work for you? Because it could be competition, right? Or whatever it is.
Funny enough, I don't really feel like we ever compete.
That's great.
Yeah. Because I always think, just recently I was at an event and with a realtor, and they're like, "Oh, do you use Joey too?" She's like, "No, but I use so and so from her office," and I was like, "We're happy it's DKMO," you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, obviously you want to do well, and I want to impress people, but I mean, as long as they're using our firm and they're happy with it, that doesn't mean that if they tell a neighbor and I get that cold call, maybe it would be me.
Yeah.
But I don't, and the Chicagoland's so large that I feel
so
like
much business.
There's so much business. So, and I do think sometimes you attract agents or people that like you as a person and everything, because it's a huge trust that you have to if you're going to refer someone to us. So I kind of feel like we each have our own niche of type of client or specific area that we work in. So
awesome. Well, Joey, it's been a pleasure to talk with you.
Yes,
I'm so glad we're able to highlight you and feature you as a brand. We're big advocates of you as a real estate attorney, and your firm has been magnificent partners of Land Trust, so thank you for that. I just want to say we wish you the best. We're going to keep track of you during your career, and I want to thank you for being on our podcast today.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate it. This was awesome.
You're
and
welcome.
I love Land Trust, so happy to be here.
Great. People Not Titles podcast, Steve Kaempf and Joey Hamel signing off. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to the People Not Titles podcast. We are proudly sponsored by Land Trust Title Services. If you enjoyed the podcast, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and we'd love it if you'd share our podcast with your friends. Thanks a lot.